Cue the cheesy podcast music.
Welcome to Megafest, where we don't just manifest, we Megafest. I'm your host, Megs Malloy. I'm creating a community of silly and soulful working moms who are mostly happy, but know they're capable of more. More self-love, more self-esteem, more self-trust, more calm, joy, natural highs, more magic in the world, and more laughter. Each week, me and my guests will bring you tips and tricks on how to make the most of your one precious life. And we're going to make them effective and efficient because ain't nobody got time for that. I believe in you. I want you to shine your light. I want you to become all that you're capable of. So let's hang out. Let's Megafest together. Welcome back to Megafest. Yay! This is episode 2, and I am so grateful that you are here. We are together, and we are making our souls so alive and so calm and so ready for all the joy and all the moments. In the Megafest world, I talk a lot about realizing your popularity. Realizing popularity, what the heck is that? I know. Realizing popularity is basically, if I could give a rambling description, is to love yourself, to know yourself, to listen to your intuition and hear what is your soul's calling, and then pursuing that, taking the small steps toward your dream. That is realizing popularity. So it's loving yourself and pursuing your dream. Simple, right? I also talk a lot about having a soulgasm, and I think you can pretty much visualize or think about what is a soulgasm. I imagine a soulgasm like any other asm you might have, where it is so overwhelming and the joy is just pumping through your veins, and it feels like every single cell in your body is just rejoicing at the same time. In my mind, I picture like finishing a race. Like I used to run half marathons and a marathon. And when you cross that finish line and you just go put your hands in the air and you're just like, yes, it was so hard, but I'm done. All those months of training and we're leading up to this moment, and it's behind you and you did it. And there's just such a release of all the good, happy hormones. And when I finished episode 1, I thought that I would have a soulgasm, like that moment of just, and it didn't really come, you know. It was more like a soul chillgasm. I don't know. I haven't come up with a good word. I think you should message me and tell me what the word is for that. I was happy. I did rejoice, and maybe I need to lean in and have more of a celebration around the completion of the first episode. But more than anything, it has given me the confidence to keep going. And I really think that is super important. And that is all that I could have really hoped for, is confidence to keep going. And I wish that for you as well. They say the knowing comes in the doing, and it really does. It is upward momentum, and I am grateful for that. And I hope that I inspire you to pursue something that has been on your heart for a while. It's been a lot of hours, but it's all gone by so fast because I love doing it, because it's my soul. It lights up my soul. And the world needs more people who are lit up. So that's my 2 cents about soulgasms. And here we are, episode 2. When deciding which episode to make episode 2, I had to make it my friend Jena Jake, who is so sagacious. Sagacious is the word of the day. She is so sagacious. Sagacious means wise. That's basically it. Having or showing keen mental discernment and good judgment. When I think of a wise woman, I think of Jena Jake. And that's really what we are both pursuing, wisdom beyond our years. Jena and I met in the summer of 2020. So if you think back to what was going on during summer of 2020, we were all at home hoping to reinvent ourselves. We were enrolled in a course called Made to Do This, which was taught by Kathy Heller. And if you have not heard of Kathy Heller, you have not listened to my podcast before, because I would not say obsessed with Kathy Heller, but she definitely has had such an influence on my life. She's a confidence coach, I think, even though if she doesn't call herself a confidence coach, I think she is. And she's also an abundance coach. And Kathy's podcast is called Don't Keep Your Day Job. So obviously we're both looking to reinvent ourselves. We're taking this course by Kathy Heller, who's Don't Keep Your Day Job. And the course is called Made to Do This. Kathy was encouraging us to go live to kind of practice putting ourselves out there. So I went live in the Facebook group, and Jena just happened to be watching. So immediately Jena messaged me and she said, I love your energy. I need more of you in my life. And we became instant friends. Isn't that amazing? We've never met each other, but we are such dear friends who met on the internet during the pandemic. Jena and I, for over a year, we hosted together a show called Friday Lunchtime Live, which was on her Instagram. And we would play games, we would dance, we would dress up in costumes. It was just completely silly and whimsical and just something fun. And I've also been a guest on her podcast, the Soul Streaker podcast, which we'll talk more about in the episode. Oh my gosh, what a great name for a podcast. Soul Streaker. She's going to tell you more about that. Jena and I just love to talk about all things personal development and spiritual wisdom and high vibe. In our interview together, we'll touch on her divorce that she's going through now. Such a horrible, hard thing. She also has a 21-year-old daughter with autism, and her mother is in a nursing home with dementia. Any one of those things would be so hard. She's got the triple whammy. Oh, and she has a teenager and a puppy. Oh my gosh. So she's going to talk about how do you adjust your mindset when life is giving you some doozies. And because she is the first guest, she will touch off on this theme that I think you'll hear in the coming episodes about being intentional with your mindset. So we'll talk a lot about that. So without further ado, please help me welcome my dear friend who I've never met in person, but she is my dear friend, Jena Jake. Jena Jake! Welcome.
Hi.
Oh, welcome to Megafest. Yay.
Oh my God, I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, Jena, you are so loved and welcome here. And you are one of my just bestest internet friends I've ever met in my entire life.
I was just telling my friend that, or somebody else like that. You're one of my closest friends, and we've never been in the same room.
Yeah.
That will change, but that will change. But see, distance means nothing.
Right? With this, during the pandemic, we just formed this amazing bond, and we are so like-minded that, it's easy for us to just get on and we inspire each other. And,
yeah.
So welcome to the Megafest studio. Like any good Irishman, I'm going to ask you, what will you have to drink?
Oh, wow. I would like to have when I need a drink, because I don't drink, I have seltzer with a splash of cranberry and 2 limes.
Ooh.
Then I'm going to add a side of sagacity. Wonk, wonk.
Ah! You are so sagacious.
Thank you.
But you really are. And that is one thing that I think you're famous for. But if we're at a party and people say, "Oh, what are you famous for?" What do you say?
Well, let's see. I am the host of the Soul Streaker podcast,
That's awesome. What's that about?
You find your podcast. Being a soul streaker is that feeling of running through a field naked. It's exciting. It's free. Like you just ran through a field naked. You're not bored. You're feeling
Not at all.
excited and I'm free. That's the feeling of being a soul streaker. It's like Wayne Dyer or I can't think of his name right now. It's jumping out of my head. Talks about being actualized, and so it's like you're just living in the highest vibe possible.
That is a movement. That is like,
yeah, it is. It's a movement of naked people, of emotional nakedness, of a soul streaking.
yes. So it's like being happy and joyful and just enthusiastic and like
light. Then this is what I strive to do. Celebration. I love that word.
yes, playfulness.
Easy, fun, playfulness,
Yeah.
eagerness, delicious.
Delicious. Yes. Yes. Jenna, so I love all this stuff. I am following you through the field. Like I'm looking at your butt and it's going like this, running, and your arms are in the air. And so how in real life do we create this playfulness and this joy?
What? It's a practice of joy. It's something that we do have to practice every day and make it part of us and make a conscious effort. And I think that's where meditation comes in the morning. And so people are like, tuned in, they're like, oh, now meditation. But you know what? If it's something delicious that you enjoy or just some kind of intention, Michael Beckwith says people don't have an attention deficit disorder. They have an intention deficit disorder. It's just set an intention for the day that I'm going to be lighter or more fun. So my intention today was to be the watcher, the observer, and not to get caught up in all of my drama like it's really me. It's kind of watching it go by like that's somebody else with compassion, I might add.
Yes, for yourself and those around you.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty.
The more self-compassion I have, the more compassion I have for other people.
Yeah, that's the more vulnerable side of being a soul streaker, isn't it? Like that's the naked side.
The naked side. Yeah. You have to be, it's like alone. And what's that show? Alone and Afraid and Alone, or,
yeah. Naked and Afraid.
Naked and Afraid. This is like naked and like soul streak, it's like free and free, it's not naked and afraid. It's like, woohoo, I'm free and just loving every part of myself. We'll have to meet and go running through a field naked.
Let's do it. Jenna, I don't know why we didn't think of that before.
Yeah,
exactly.
That'd be a great promotional thing.
Oh my gosh. So it really does start, it sounds like it starts from a mindset.
Absolutely. It starts from your mindset. They say change the way you look at things and the things you look at will change. The happiness is an inside job. Your circumstances are never going to change for you to be like, I think I'll be happy today. That's just never going to happen. It's like we have to make the decision. We're going to be happy. And then everything else will just kind of float around. But it's that commitment that we make to ourselves. Because you start to see when you're in your dis-ease, that's when the disease starts to show up.
Yes. Well, so you and I definitely agree that in these moments where you in practicing being happy or joyful or being a soul streaker, you need to inundate yourself with sagacious sort of materials and uplifting materials so that it can become second nature. Yeah.
I love what you were about to say. You kind of caught yourself, but you were right. It's the practice of practice. Mm-hmm. I love the way you put that. It's the practice of practice. It's an art form.
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes I have to literally flood myself. Because the season that I'm doing this season is the Tao of divorce, and I'm going through a divorce. There's a lot that goes into that. And plus I have, other things on that level that I'm dealing with my daughter, with my daughter or my mother, or going through a divorce is not the hardest thing that I'm going through, but it's one of the things I'm going through. It's all character building, right? But it's how do I look at it? Like, this is going to change me. So how I change is up to me. And I want to take control of that process and make sure that get into the stream of consciousness in the field, this quantum field that we're in, and drive the vibration that this is for my highest good.
Jena, do you care to talk about the other things that you have going on in your life?
I have a daughter with special needs, with autism, who is quite the character and can be physically demanding and challenging, and it's unfortunate because the system post 21. She's
21 years old.
She just turned 21, and before 21, special needs parents have what they call FAPE, free and appropriate education. And so what's appropriate, and that's where the fighting begins about what's appropriate. But you have rights. Now I have no rights. And so they basically fall off a cliff at 21, and that's not good enough, So is this an opportunity, or is this a negative thing? So now there's all this space for decent programming post 21 to be created. It's like literally blue ocean. And so that's something that I'm inspired to do, because I see that it's so desperately needed, and the toll that it takes on me and my family, and especially me and my daughter, for her being in a situation where I feel really fits her needs well. And I'm having, challenges with that. However, I'm, when I focus on the team that I'm building around me, and I focus on the things that are coming in that are just showing up for me, instead of just like what I don't want more of. And that's what I'm really learning, because I'm like, oh, and she's this, and this is happening, and this drama, and these people, and why can't they, let's get our act together here, and why is she doing this? And I'm just focusing more on, wow, I'm starting to get this great team around me, and I'm starting to see other options for her, and what could come of that, and be excited about that than the other thing, because you cannot solve the problem at the level of the problem. We've talked about that, right?
Yeah.
It's so true. So when you're stuck in the drama of the problem and everything that's going wrong, you're not in the level to solve. And then my mom has dementia. She's institutionalized too. So it's like, I got one below me, one beneath, above me, and
you've got a teenager.
And I have a teenager. Yeah, but it's a lot. There's a lot of loss there that I'm processing, but it's like, we're never really doing anything, but we're always being done. So this is like changing me. It's making me stronger, these circumstances.
Well, we've also never talked about this either, but I wonder what the experience of finding out that your oldest was neurodivergent and special needs, was that anything, what it's like processing your divorce?
And and prior to that, I almost died in childbirth, like having her. And so she was born, and then I was thinking, oh, thank God that's over. Like, that wasn't even the worst. And so I had this little honeymoon period after, like, thank God I survived the birth. And then, the first year until started to see, because she had a cousin the same age, how he was doing things she wasn't doing. And then I started to see, okay, you know what? She's got autism, and she had feeding issues. And so I had her in this day hospital. She's really been kicking my tuchus ever since she was conceived, really. And just to be like, there's so, when people give these kind of chronic diagnoses, the lack of care and sensitivity and compassion, it's not sagacious. It's not. And so people, they need to give us hope with as the entree and a side dish of the diagnosis, instead of no hope, just kind of coldly saying, oh, your child has autism. And so I was alone in a meeting and with around all these people, this hospital staff, and they're just basically, matter of fact, of their rating test that she had autism. And it's kind of like that feeling everybody probably can relate, more so East Coast and West, of 9/11. Like September 10th the world was one way. September 11th, the world was another way. And it just like that overnight. And that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like you were living one way, almost like pre-COVID as well. You can relate, and now we live a different way. And that innocence has been taken. However, we're wiser and stronger and more industrious.
Yeah.
So the divorce is a different feeling, because that's more of like an ending and a healing. And I don't know, I'm still going through that process where the autism It's more like, you go through these stages of like, we're going to heal, we're going to fix this, we're going to heal this. And then they get older and they're not in the mainstream. And you just get to this point where they're 21 and you're like, I just want them to be happy. But like and that's good enough. And it's good enough. But you learn so much because how brave they are, if you want to look at it from a soul perspective, to even take on a body like this and to live a life like this.
Sure.
And have respect for that, because they're in there, and the sacredness of it, and how they love you unconditionally, and they don't lie, and they don't cheat, and they don't steal, and all these, they live kind of like the people that we pray to in our religions, Jesus, Buddha. They're living on this high spiritual plane. They're teaching us stuff. Like, she came for me to make me stronger.
Aw.
I look at it that way. There's a sacredness to it because their souls are not impacted by diagnosis.
Right. Jena, that is a beautiful way to talk about it, or to think about it. To recognize that she is a spiritual being just like us, and to think that she chose that body. Yeah, you're right. That is so brave of her. Yeah.
I don't know if I would have wanted to do that. Like, can you imagine choosing a body where you're trapped inside of it and you can't really communicate, and nothing makes sense, and your vestibular system's all off, things are super loud, nobody understands you. People who have special needs are so disrespected in this society too. It's very upsetting. They're taken for granted. Like, they're almost like non-people. And so, she's teaching me a lot and pushing and constantly pushing me to the next level. So now it's like, I've advocated. Now it's like, okay, now you got to build. Well, so I think I'm going to be in something, I'm going to need to create that. So she pushes me to do that.
Well, I mean, you're her mother. You need to protect her and love her.
How brave am I to sign up for this life with her, right?
Yeah, well, there's that too. Yeah. Jena, hearing you talk about that is just really, I think the world needs more advocates like that, and more people just reiterating that message.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And there's so many kids like her. When I was growing up, I knew one person that had autism, but now that's so many. We all know so many. And this is really a need for this kind of thing. And how can we all be part of the solution? What are you, listener, going to do to be part of that solution? Even just being nice to them, or like not ignoring them in the street, something, or just when you have some grace when you see a mom struggling with a special needs kid, because that kid is annoying you for 10, 15, 20 minutes. This mom goes through this every single day, and this kid can't get away from itself. Have grace.
You have really taken a situation many situations that could crush a person, and you're just like this vine that just keeps going. You've had lots of hardships, but you just keep growing. And
well, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a great compliment. And, I do the best I can every day. And I feel blessed to be connected to spirit, to have, people like you, and to kind of like, the art of allowing, they call it, right? Watching it just unfold and not feeling like I have to do the heavy lifting, but doing the heavy knowing.
Yeah.
But it's a practice. It just, it don't come easy, as they say.
Yeah.
I know. I don't want to put that into the ether. It comes, it's an easy thing when we allow it to be.
You have read, consumed, and flooded yourself with so many of these fellow wise women. So tell me more about what sort of self-help, or what do you call it? What kind of junkie are you?
Personal growth junkie.
Okay. Yeah. Jena, you are a self-proclaimed
personal growth junkie.
What does it mean to you to be a personal growth junkie?
I'm trying to get to this level of what I feel is my calling of being a spiritual master in some way, like raising my vibration so high that I can affect other people by just being in the room.
Yeah.
And it's like saying goodbye to your ego and not holding grudges and forgiveness. All the things that we people talk about, they're underrated. Gratitude.
Yes. Gratitude. Yeah. What we call, or what you call, the superfoods of the soul.
Superfoods, forgiveness and gratitude. Yeah, exactly. And I actually was having a panic attack the other day, and I gratituded myself out of it.
Whoa.
I just like dug deep into that gratitude. I was like, what am I grateful for? What am I really grateful, even within my circumstances? What am I grateful for in my circumstances?
Tell me more about that, because that's not easy to do.
No. So like, even if I'm going through this divorce, but I'm grateful for my ex for working so hard, that fiscally helping to support me. And I'm grateful that my daughter's going to one of the best high schools in the state. And I'm grateful that my daughter's being cared for, that she's not living with me, and that I would have this stress on me 24/7 with her. And even though I have a lot of challenges with that, she's not with me, and I have peace when I need to pull peace. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for it's a beautiful day. I'm grateful for my relationship with you. I'm grateful for my podcast. I'm grateful for all the food in my refrigerator, the lights that work.
Right.
Just keep, it just on and on and on.
And how long did it take to get out of the panic attack?
With the gratitude, it took like a good 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, but I just hammered it at the gratitude. And there's just so much to be thankful for that we just take for granted.
It really is. It really is.
And when people are focused on the problem, it's mindset, and I'm starting to see even like our subconscious mind just runs our day just with on automatic pilot. And so it's that practice of being more intentional and present and in the now.
Yeah. I know listening to The Untethered Soul was just such a game changer for me. And it was like, we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yeah.
And we receive the world through our five senses, and that inner monologue is always going, and it's trying to interpret the world around us through our five senses and our memories and things like this. We don't have to listen to that voice. It's not us. We are the ones who observe the voice, and we can direct that voice and those thoughts, and directing that, you create feelings. And
right. So it's like check in with your observer's not depressed, your observer's not anxious, your observer's not angry or fearful. They're just peacefully observing, and that's who we really are. But people don't even think they know that they have an observer. I know Eckhart Tolle talks about this observer in The Power of Now, I believe.
We're going to take a quick break from this awesome convo to invite you to the Soulgasm Society. Go check out the show note, or go to Instagram and look for megs.malloy. That's my Instagram page, and you will find an invitation to join the Soulgasm Society. If you are a fan of all this realizing popularity, all the wonderful, inspiring mindset, intention setting, nervous system calming info, then I want you to come hang out with me. The Soulgasm Society is basically a mailing list. But hey, you need one more email. But this is the email that's going to make you laugh, make you smile, put a song in your head and your heart. It's going to give you some actionable tips to help you live your life from a joyous, calm place. So you could do it right now. Just click on that link, sign up for the Soulgasm Society.
I have two daughters. One hates dogs and one loves dogs. And if I put a dog in the room, one's going to run away and not go in the room, and the other one's going to run towards the dog. What's the truth? Take a simple example like that. There really is no truth, in that you create and make up your own truth about the way life is. And then you vibrate that, and then that's what comes back.
Yes.
To change that pattern, that's what I work on every day. That's what that's what the affirmations are for. And the meditations are for. It's just about changing that programming. You were programmed. Now it's time to be intentional about how you're being programmed, and program yourself the way you want to be programmed.
you are going to program the shit out of yourself, and then you're going to help. And then you're going to help other women to reprogram themselves.
Yes, I love working with women, especially in divorce, because you're in that field, in that river of change. You're being done. Let's empower ourselves with that. No more victim mentality. You're nobody's victim.
That is really one thing, isn't it? I always flip that and say the shero mentality, and I'm still working on that one. But it's once I was aware that I was in victim mentality, a lot of things started to change.
And I think some of that is really an addiction that we have. Mm-hmm. And we're addicted to these ideals. We become, and because we don't know who we are without them. And the ego wants us to be these people because that's its identity, and it doesn't want to die.
Right. Yeah. Need me.
Yeah. Stay down.
Yeah. We are too sagacious for that. We are. What is the best vacation you've ever taken?
That's a good question. I mean, I can honestly tell you the most meaningful vacation I ever took. When I went to Venezuela with my mom in 92, I think. Beautiful country, by the way. And everybody was gorgeous. And I never walked into an airport and went, why is everybody so good looking? You know, it just like smacks you in the face how beautiful everybody is. I went to Venezuela and I felt like I belonged there. Like it was familiar to me.
Oh, isn't that so cool when that happens?
It rocked my soul. And then I came back and I changed my major to Spanish. And then I became fluent in Spanish. And then I was a Spanish teacher for 5 years, I think.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Venezuela. I love when you go to a place and you just feel like part of your soul is just like, yes,
yeah,
I'm
like
here. This is my
like,
place.
Yeah, I was here before, or another life. Or I always say, yo soy Latina por el alma. Like I'm Spanish, Latina in the soul. And I feel that kind of vibe, and it's really nice. And that's part of the reason that I have a Latina daughter, that I adopted one, because whatever the circumstances lent itself to doing adoption, and I really wanted a Latina person because of my kindred spirit towards the culture.
I think your next best vacation is going to be maybe going to South America with her.
Maybe, yeah. I've been to Costa Rica with her, Puerto Rico with her. I think one of my best vacations is coming to California to visit.
Yes, I know. Or I need to come to the East Coast. One of the two.
The two. Or Chicago or something.
Oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
Yeah, I would like to take Ava to Chicago. I owe her a trip to Chicago. So that would be super fun.
Oh my gosh, Jena. We could pick a city in the middle that would be fun to explore.
Yeah.
Would you get on a plane for that?
Yeah. I would. I'll probably take Ava, but I would do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm leaving my kids at home.
Okay, you can do that. That's fine.
And what is the song that's going to get you on the dance floor at the wedding or at the club or wherever, and you're just like, woo?
There's so many.
Because you're a bit of a dancer, is that right?
Yeah, it's not going to take much. Anything really good from like the 70s, 80s, 90s, even some of the 2000s. But I love that song, Jackie Moore, This Time Baby. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to sing it.
I don't know that one, but...
Yeah, This Time Baby, I think it's called. This time, baby, we won't be in and out of love. In and out, baby. Honestly, it doesn't take much. Any good go song, I'm down.
Yeah. Aw.
Cool.
And is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you really want to share?
I have a little spiritual book that's coming out soon called The Purpose, about a young person named Sammy who sees the animals playing and the butterflies flying and the birds are singing and everybody's just in harmony. And Sammy's noticed this, and Sammy wants to be happy like the animals around him. A voice from deep within says that Sammy can have this if Sammy because these creatures have this because they fulfill their purpose. And Sammy wants to fulfill Sammy's purpose too. it's like they do what comes naturally, what brings them joy, and Sammy gets that in the book, and it's very exciting. And I'm very excited to have that book come out. So,
oh my gosh, Jena,
what is your purpose?
Yeah, we haven't talked about that one too much. So is this a children's book?
Yeah, it's a spiritual book, but it's set for like a children's book. So it's coming out very soon. I'm super excited. Hit me up on my website, jenajake.com, and, inquire about the book.
Ah, so good. Now you can add children's author to your
I'm so excited.
resume
to my list. Thank you so much.
Because it is true. I think one of the great leaders in the history of the earth had said, do what lights you up, because we need more people who are lit up. And that sounds like it's kind of a story about that.
Yeah, exactly. Do what lights you up. And, when people worry about their purpose, it's like, what would you pay money to do? What do you love to do so much? That's what your purpose is.
This is it for me.
Yeah, I love this too. Exactly. Just talking about this stuff. That's my, just that is my purpose. And hoping that you and I made an impact on somebody driving in their car in traffic. And now they're like listening to us, and they're more focused on us, and their heart is filled with light and love, and they banished all of their thoughts of negativity. And we took them to a higher spiritual level. Like,
yes. Awesome. And that spills out to their families and their world. And
exactly.
It's just a series of heart-shaped ripples going through the world.
Right. And the universe is just expanding on itself. Like, there's only one of us here. That's what they all say.
For the listeners, what book would you recommend, or like, what are your top 3 kind of self-development, personal development, junkie, like, Bibles?
I have to only pick 3.
I know. Well, you can just go on and list the ones that come to your head, too.
I can't think of the name of the author of the one book that I loved, but The Untethered Soul, anything by Michael Singer, 100%. I love that book. There's so many. I mean, Wayne Dyer.
Yes.
He wrote 1 million books. Joe Dispenza. Love Joe Dispenza.
Michael Beckwith. Right?
Michael Beckwith. Louise Hay. Pema Chodron. Carlos Castaneda. I know Wayne Dyer loves. Now I'm listening to The Psychology of Manifesting Money.
Ooh, okay.
And then Debbie Misra, I really loved, and I interviewed her on my podcast, and I really love her. She wrote a book on safety, like feeling safe within yourself, which nobody talks about. And then she has books on self-love. So I like Debbie Misra. I got to give her my
actually, that is one thing that I did not realize is one of the 5 top underlying subconscious fears is that we are not safe. Yes. And I don't know if that's one of the top ones for me, so it's not on my radar, but it really is something. Imagine if you didn't feel safe, like just living.
That's how I feel. Yeah. And that's been a big thing for me, not feeling safe. And that is the one thing that I work on. And I work on. Well, I'm listening to The Magic of Manifesting Money right now.
Who's that by?
Ryu Ryu Minohara.
Is it good?
Yes, very good. I mean, it's kind of the repeat of all the things that we talk about and know. Abraham, this person's definitely been listening to Abraham Hicks, but I love it. Florence Scovel Shinn.
Oh.
That is a must listen to. Oh, David Hawkins. Love David Hawkins. Thomas More, Care of the Soul. This is just what's in my Audible. Yeah, Debbie Misra has Worthy of Love, The Untethered Soul, and then One Mind by Larry Dossey. And I also like Stefan Labossiere. He's good, but he talks about relationships. The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk. I mean, I can literally do book report.
Speaking of the money manifesting, I'm listening to You Are a Badass at Making Money, and I'm really inspired by that one.
Yeah.
I like her style.
So many books. Yeah. But for someone just like kind of getting started, I think, Wayne Dyer would be a good place to start. Louise Hay would be a good place to start with some of the oldies but goodie, the classics, if you will.
To any Tony Robbins. I don't know if I ever read any of his books, but he's got a lot of good techniques.
Yeah, I read his money book, actually. I think I'm going to listen to that again, or listen to these books. Yeah, Care of the Soul, it's really Thomas More, like creativity. Marianne Williamson has a bunch of stuff. I was listening to her in the 90s.
It's a perpetual journey to become sagacious and wise and just to understand ourselves and have the best possible earthly experience that we can, and spiritual experience, and also, pass that on to others too, right? Because it's
and it's not just you listen to this book and then you're forever changed. Like, and you could probably concur with me, like, we listen to this over and over and every day again, and I hear a lot of the same things, but it like drills it in. I'm like, yeah, I know when I'm listening, and then you kind of forget.
Oh, I know. It's the constant forgetting and remembering. Yeah. But eventually it kind of like one little
pieces of it start to stick. Yeah.
Yes.
It becomes part of you.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can't just read a book and then you're done. Like, it's a practice. You have to practice this intention every single day.
Do you think that if you went streaking, would that be enough? Would it, or just running through the field naked every day? That would really set you on a
probably set you
major
up
trajectory.
As long as I was guaranteed to not get arrested or anything, that would probably set me up for the day.
But it wouldn't be just like you do it once and then you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, because you have to do it in different temperatures too. I mean, like running through snow naked. It's a rain naked. I mean, it kind of adds to the fun.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Anything else that you feel called to share or?
No, this is such a great opportunity. You are my sister of sagacity for 100%. And this is really fun. Like I said, I hope people come and check out Soul Speaker Podcast, check out my website. And if they want more of us, you and I and Megan was amazing. I have on my Instagram at Jena.Jake. So we did a lunchtime live for like a year.
Yeah, that was super fun.
Together, more, and you're on my podcast a million times. So if you loved our combination, let us know. We'll do more stuff together and check us out. Check us out.
Yes. Oh, I couldn't have said it better. Thank you for all. I sometimes forget about Lunchtime Live, and that was something that just got me through the pandemic. Like,
it did me too. Yeah.
Yeah. It was our own personal soul streaking, really.
It was. And we had so much fun, and we'd get dressed up and dance around, and it's definitely worth checking out.
Play games and
yeah.
Instagram tried to shut us down, but not for long. We'd always come back.
It's true. We stood our ground with Instagram.
Well, Jena, you are just so wonderful, and you bring so much light into my life. And
thank you so much.
I couldn't even have dreamt up a more wonderful exchange of energy, where you're getting downloads for me and I'm getting downloads for you, and we're just here to help each other and rejoice in our growth and our self-actualization and to help other people do that too.
Yeah, we're really linked because the listeners don't know, but you had a dream that I was in and there was a message. And then I spoke to another friend and I said, why did they give the message to Megan and not me? And they said, well, your energy is probably wonky, and they really needed to get the message. And so they put it through Megan. So it shows that we're just so linked.
Yeah, we really are. And I'm honored to be that.
Thank you. This is what they call beshert. As the Jews, we say beshert. It's beshert.
Beshert? What does that mean?
Meant to be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you have so much to offer the world, Jena.
Thank you. So do you. This was exciting. And best of luck with your Megafest podcast. Like, why manifest when you can Megafest?
That's right. Well, didn't I tell you? She is amazing, isn't she? So sagacious. Yeah. I really didn't know that Jena was writing a children's book, a spiritual children's book. And when I talked to her today, just about an hour ago, she said she was shipping it out to have it printed. So more information on that soon. So exciting. Talk about a soulgasm. We were talking about what a great soulgasm it's going to be when she opens up the box of the finished book. And she's going to be able to pick it up and hold it. And it's going to be illustrated. And it's going to be right there in her hands. Now that is going to be a soulgasm. And you can check out her new season of the Soul Streaker podcast, which is focused on what she calls the Tao of divorce, which is something she's going through now. She's speaking her truth, and I think that that's awesome. Jena is on Instagram at Jena.Jake. She also has a website, JenaJake.com, and you can find her podcast probably on Spotify or Apple. I listen on Apple, and it's the Soul Streaker podcast. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes. If you are on Instagram, make sure you give her a follow. And if this episode resonated with you, put it up in your story and tag Jena, tag me, and let us know what you liked about it. Otherwise, we're just right here behind a microphone talking to a camera. But really, I like talking to people. So let's start a conversation. The best gift you can give a new podcast mom is to like and subscribe and send an episode that resonated with you to your social media, or maybe send it to a few friends. I've gotten a lot of nice messages from my friends saying, I'm so proud of you, congratulations. And that just feels so good. And I just have to give a huge shout out to my friend Birch Hamilton. She said she got emotional listening to the first episode, hearing about my burnout and how I got over it was so inspiring. And she said, you have emboldened me, and she is going to share it with her friends. Oh my gosh. And she used the word of the day from episode 1. So she sent it to 10 friends, she said, and then she texted me back and she got a message from one of the friends she sent it to. Hi, darling. Loved your friend's podcast. I listened to episode 1. I felt like she was talking to me. So great. Well, to that friend, I will say I'm sorry if you're going through the things that I went through with the burnout and overwhelm, but what an amazing feeling to have somebody who is going through it with you and has survived and has gotten to a place of thriving. And hopefully she took away a few tips. So more stories like this, please. I want to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to connecting with you again next week.